You want to know why you're stuck? Why you feel like you're drowning in your own damn life? It's because you've been running from pain your entire existence. That's the cold truth. And the more you run, the weaker you get. You've been taught that pain is bad, that suffering is something to be avoided, that comfort is the goal, and that lie, that poison, is exactly why you're broke, soft, invisible, and replaceable. The truth is brutal, and I don't care if it hurts your feelings. Pain is the fuel. Suffering is the currency of growth. The ones who win, the ones you admire, the ones living the life you fantasize about, they suffered more than you ever have. The difference? They didn't run from it. They ran into it head first like savages. And while you were crying about how hard life is, they were building their kingdom with blood, sweat, and scars. You sit there scrolling, hoping for some motivation, when what you really need is a slap in the face from reality. Because no one's coming to save you. No one's waking you up at 5 a.m. No one's making you train when your body's sore. No one's gonna stop you from eating garbage, wasting time, and surrounding yourself with losers who validate your excuses. That's on you. You're either your own savior or your own executioner. You think the pain you're feeling now is unfair. Ha! You think life is supposed to be easy? Let me explain something to you. Easy is for losers. Easy is for the masses. Easy is for the weak. You want to be elite? Then embrace the suffering. Let it mold you. Let it build your mind into a fortress, because the man who suffers with purpose becomes untouchable. Every great man was forged in pain. Every king was born in chaos. They didn't find strength in comfort. They created power in hell. And if you want to stand where they stand, you better be ready to bleed. You better be ready to endure the kind of mental warfare that would break the average man in minutes. You don't need more rest. You need more fight. You don't need a break. Oh, you need a breakdown. A moment where you look at yourself in the mirror and realize this is war, and you've been walking around like a civilian. You've been dodging discomfort like it's some disease, not realizing that discomfort is the path to domination. Do you understand what you're actually doing every time you take the easy route? You're choosing long-term failure for short-term relief. You're trading your legacy for laziness. You're selling your future for fleeting pleasure. And it's killing you. Not instantly, slowly, quietly. Day by day, inch by inch, your potential dies every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, but I'll tell you what's worse than pain: regret. The pain of regret is a knife that never stops cutting. It haunts you. It eats at your soul. It whispers to you at night, reminding you of the man you could have been, if only you had the guts to suffer when it mattered. So here's the deal. You've got two choices, two paths, two lives. One is paved with struggle, failure, rejection, and pain, but it leads to power, respect, and freedom. Freedom. The other is cozy, safe, comfortable, but it leads to weakness, mediocrity, and misery. You either suffer now or you suffer forever. There is no escape from pain. That's the secret. The only question is, which pain do you choose? The pain of discipline, of sacrifice, of obsession, or the pain of regret, of shame, of watching others rise while you rot? This video, this moment, this is your wake-up call. You've been playing small. You've been avoiding the very thing that would make you great. But it ends now. No more weakness, no more soft habits, no more hiding from the fire. From this moment forward, you walk into the pain. You welcome it. You eat it for breakfast, because every time you suffer with purpose, you become more, stronger, sharper, scarier. Until one day, you look around and realize you've become the version of yourself that nobody thought you had the balls to become. This is your chance to become him. Let's begin. The reason you're weak is because you think you have time. You think you can afford to delay your suffering. You think there's some magical future version of you that's gonna wake up one day and suddenly have discipline, strength, and clarity. Hockey. That day never comes. That version of you doesn't exist unless you earn him through pain. Every second you delay the suffering you need, you're building comfort. And comfort is a killer. It whispers sweet lies in your ear while it slowly robs you of every ounce of greatness you were born with. See, the men who win in this world, they don't just tolerate pain, they seek it. They understand that pain is where the transformation happens. It's where the weak parts of you are exposed and destroyed. The average man avoids that exposure. He protects his ego, hides his flaws, numbs himself with distractions. But the elite, the dangerous, they throw themselves into the fire and come out forged like steel. You want practical? Here it is. You wake up at 6 when your mind screams for 2 more hours. You train when your body aches. You work on your craft when everyone else is binge-watching trash. You eat clean when your friends are gorging on junk. You study, you build, you grind. Not for instant results, but because every rep of suffering hardens your soul. This is how you gain edge. Not from books, not from affirmations. From warfare, internal, relentless. You think greatness is a reward? It's not. It's a side effect. The reward is reserved for those who volunteer to suffer, who wake up and say, give me the hard path. Give me the rejection. Give me the discipline. Because I know this is where the real power is created. Look around you, weak men everywhere, crying about how life isn't fair, waiting for the right mood to take action, paralyzed by self-pity and TikTok dopamine. They've been coddled into mediocrity. And worst of all, they've convinced themselves it's normal. That's the lie society sold you. Comfort, inclusion, acceptance. That lie breeds a generation of sheep. And you're either one of them, or you're the wolf who breaks away. You want to become powerful? Then stop asking for ease. Start demanding challenge. Every painful choice you make builds psychological armor. It reprograms your DNA. It makes you dangerous. Not in a physical way, though that comes too, but in a mindset way. You walk different when you've earned your confidence in the fire. Bleh. You speak different when you've bled for your beliefs. That's what pain gives you. That's why it's the fuel. And don't confuse this with masochism. This isn't about suffering for suffering's sake. This is strategic pain. Calculated, purposeful. Because suffering without purpose is just chaos. But suffering with intention, that's evolution. That's how you level up in a world that wants to keep you small. So, no more complaining. No more waiting. No more acting like you deserve something just because you exist. You don't. You deserve what you earn. And what you earn is dictated by how much you're willing to suffer. That's the exchange rate in this game. You're paying for power. You're disciplined for dominance. You either go through it now or spend your life chasing fake happiness, wondering why nothing changes. Pick your pain. The weak man runs. The strong man walks into the storm and smiles. You've been lied to about what success looks like. They told you it's about luck, about timing, about knowing the right people. Bullsh. Success is war. It's trench warfare. It's day in, day out, bleeding for something no one else can see but you. And the hardest part? No one claps for you while you suffer. There's no parade for the grind. No cheers for the lonely nights, the missed parties, the isolation. That's the part no one wants to talk about. You want to be elite? You want the money, the respect, the power? Then you better fall in love with being unseen while you suffer. Because the world won't recognize your grind until it's done. Until you show up one day, unrecognizable. And by then, it's too late for them. They'll say, you're lucky. They'll pretend you just got a break. But they weren't there when your back was against the wall, when you were broke, betrayed, abandoned, and still chose to show up and do the work. See, when the pressure hits, most fold. When the pain gets real, they tap out. But the men who rise, they're the ones who keep swinging when their hands are bleeding. Who stay up studying while everyone else is sleeping, who sacrifice pleasure for purpose, because they know it's not supposed to feel good. It's supposed to hurt. Real strength is built in silence, when no one is watching. When no one believes in you, that's where the inner killer is carved. And if you can't dominate in private, you'll never win in public. Every rep of pain, every hour of isolation, every night you wanted to quit but didn't, that's where champions are born. Not on the podium, in the shadows. You need to stop craving validation and start craving pain. Crave the resistance, because resistance is what gives you shape. It's what defines your edges. You don't grow by being praised. You grow by being tested, broken, and rebuilt, stronger, and let's talk practical. You want your business to explode? Then you better be ready to outwork every competitor. No shortcuts, no balanced lifestyle while you're still broke. This isn't the time for comfort. It's time for obsession. You want to get ripped? Stop eating like a peasant and start training like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your health, your confidence, your testosterone, it all rises when you suffer with purpose. You want to attract high-level people? Become high-level first. And guess what separates high-level from average? The ability to endure pain that breaks ordinary men. You think the top 1% got there by avoiding hardship? Hell no. They stared it in the face and said, give me more. Let me remind you, your pain is a weapon, but only if you sharpen it. Only if you sharpen. Most people dull theirs with distractions, alcohol, Video games, cheap dopamine. They escape instead of elevate. And then they wonder why they're still stuck. Not you. Not anymore. From now on, you use the pain. You turn heartbreak into hunger. You turn betrayal into brutality. You turn every L into fuel. That's the code. That's how killers are built. You suffer now, in silence, in solitude, in sweat and tears, and one day you emerge and they don't recognize you. That's the goal. That's the legacy. The man you want to become is on the other side of pain you've been avoiding. So what are you waiting for? Every man wants to be a winner until it's time to do what winners do. Everyone wants the throne, but no one wants the war. You say you want success, but your actions scream comfort. You say you want freedom, but you live like a slave to your emotions. You chase motivation like a junkie chasing a hit. 5. Let me tell you something brutal. You will never win if your actions depend on how you feel. Winners don't operate off feelings. They operate off purpose. They don't wait for the mood to strike. They execute no matter what. Rain, pain, fatigue, it doesn't matter. Because the mission is bigger than emotion. You want to dominate? Then remove your feelings from the equation. The real ones get up when they're tired. Train when they're sore. Work when they're uninspired. That's the difference. That's the gap between average and alpha. Let me make it practical. You think the guy closing deals, making millions, building empires is doing it because he's motivated 24/7? Hell no, he's tired, he's stressed, he's doubted himself 1,000 times, but he shows up anyway because he understands the enemy doesn't care how he heals. The market doesn't care. The game doesn't pause for your emotions. Either you show up or you get left behind, period. And this applies to everything. You want a strong body? Then you hit the gym regardless of how low energy you feel. You want to be wealthy? Then you grind through the boredom, the setbacks, the rejections, and You want a powerful mind? Then you read, learn, push your mental limits even when you're drained. You think discipline feels good? It doesn't. That's why it's rare. That's why most men are soft, because they think the path should be easy. They think every step should feel exciting. They confuse comfort with progress. Wake up. Progress is pain. It's doing the shit you don't want to do, especially when you don't feel like it. And here's the savage truth. The man who learns to act independently of his emotions becomes unstoppable. That's when you flip the switch. That's when you become lethal. Because while everyone else is hesitating, waiting to feel ready, you're already 10 moves ahead, carving your legacy while they're still stuck in their heads. You need to rewire yourself. Build a new identity. Not the guy who reacts to feelings, but the man who responds with fire, the man who leads with action, who uses pain, fatigue, and resistance as signals to go harder, not excuses to slow down. That mindset, that's the kill switch. That's how empires are built. Do you think lions ask themselves, am I in the mood to hunt today? No, they hunt because they're born to. That's what you need to unlock, that predator instinct, that no matter what aggression toward your goals. Because if you wait for the perfect conditions, you'll be waiting forever. There is no perfect moment. There's no right time. There's only now and the man you decide to be in this moment. So stop giving your power to emotions. Stop negotiating with weakness. Start moving like a machine. Ruthless, relentless, unstoppable. Build your habits. Build your rhythm. Show up even when it hurts. That's how you build momentum. That's how you build identity. And identity beats motivation every time. Repeat this to yourself. I don't need to feel like it. I just need to do it. The reason you're stuck isn't because you're not talented. It's not because you lack potential. It's because you keep operating in a mindset of survival, not one of domination. You wake up just trying to get by to make it through the day. That's weak. That's the mindset of a man who's waiting for permission to rise. And guess what? No one's coming to save you. Let me make this painfully clear. The world does not reward effort. It rewards execution. The market doesn't pay you for how hard you tried. It pays you for how lethal you are in results. That's the cold truth. You don't get rich from intention fighting. You get rich from precision and aggression. You dominate or you disappear. You're not broke because the system is unfair. You're broke because you play safe. You operate like a civilian while expecting warrior results. But life doesn't work that way. If you want to win, you have to move like a weapon. Every word, every action, every choice, calculated, sharp, and decisive. You wake up with war in your veins. You move through life like everything depends on you, because it does. Let's get real. Most men wait. They wait for the right time, the right mentor, the perfect idea. The moment when they feel ready, let me tell you something raw, that moment never comes. You either take what's yours or you rot with regret. You either build your empire, brick by brutal brick, or you become another voice in the crowd, whining about why life isn't fair. You want to dominate? Then you need clarity. You need to know exactly what the FCK you're building, what your target is, and then you pursue it with so much intensity, people around you get uncomfortable. That's the level. That's the edge. When your focus becomes so intense, it turns into intimidation. Ay veo. When you start moving with such purpose, people either respect you or fear you. Either way, you win. The practical side: cut distractions, cut weak men, cut aimless habits. Your circle should be elite, your time should be guarded, and your energy should only go toward execution. You think this is just about mindset? It's about lifestyle. You live like a king or you die like a pawn. And that starts with decisions, daily. Brutal, non-negotiable decisions. You grind when you don't want to. You show up when you're tired. You study when others party. You rise when others sleep. You work when others weep. And if that sounds extreme, good, because domination is extreme. Comfort is for the average. Domination is for the obsessed. And let's be clear, this isn't about money only. This is about your life, your legacy, your reputation. You're either known as the man who took everything life threw at him and turned it into fuel, or the guy who talked big and died small. Your children will carry your name. What will it mean to them? Power or failure? You've got one shot, one life, one legacy to carve. So why the hell are you playing small? Why are you tiptoeing through life hoping to make it out alive? Wake up! This world isn't soft, it's savage, and only the men who embrace the brutality of it rise to the top. It's time to stop surviving and start dominating. No more playing defense. No more asking, no more hoping. You take, you conquer, you lead. That's how lions live. That's how kings are born. Let's talk about the enemy you've ignored the most: yourself. The undisciplined, lazy, weak version of you that you've allowed to run your life like a dictator. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That voice in your head that says, you can skip today. You've done enough. You deserve a break. That's the voice that's been stealing your greatness one excuse at a time. You don't need more information. You don't need another course, another coach, another video. What you need is war, not with the world, with the version of yourself that's been holding you back. The soft version, the fearful version, the one that overthinks, that hesitates, that backs down when it's time to go all in. That version needs to die now. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. You don't rise by adding more, you rise by cutting the bullst. Cut the fear, cut the excuses, cut the habits that poison your potential. You already know what's destroying you. Your phone addiction, your comfort addiction, your comfort addiction. Your Netflix binging, your porn, your laziness, your distractions. You've trained yourself to be soft and then wonder why your life feels weak. Want to become unstoppable? Then declare war on that version of you. Stop negotiating with it. Stop feeding it. Starve it. And every time it tries to crawl back, when it whispers comfort, when it begs for rest, when it tries to sell you another lie, you kill it with action. You destroy it by showing up, by outworking, by outlasting, by outdisciplining every part of yourself that's ever held you back. Let me give you a practical example. You wake up and you don't feel like going to war with the day. Perfect. That's the test. That's the exact moment you choose to conquer or crumble. Most men fold. They scroll Instagram. They check notifications. They snooze the alarm. Weak. That's the moment a lion roars. That's when a real one jumps out of bed, hits the gym, plans his moves, and attacks the day like his life depends on it, because it does. And let me remind you, this isn't some motivational fluff. This is survival of the fittest. The world doesn't care about your dreams. No one's going to hand you your goals. You get what you're willing to bleed for. You rise when your habits become lethal, when your discipline becomes savage, when your commitment becomes bulletproof, when you become a machine. You've got to realize something powerful here. The moment you stop tolerating your own weakness is the moment everything changes. Because once you eliminate the version of you that lives off emotion, distraction, and comfort, you unlock the version that operates on execution, purpose, and pain tolerance. That version, that's the one that wins. You want a six-figure bank account? A powerful body? A legacy? A legacy? A life that makes people shut up when your name is spoken? Then stop entertaining your old self. Burn the blueprint of mediocrity. Rewrite it with blood, sweat, and unrelenting self-mastery. And if that sounds harsh, it's because it is. Greatness has a cost, and most men are too soft to pay it. But not you. Not anymore. This is your call, your turning point, your final test. You either declare war on your weakness or you spend the rest of your life ruled by it. And let me promise you, if you don't kill it, it will kill you. Now that you've heard every word, the question isn't a can you do it? The question is, will you? Because everything I just laid out isn't theory. It's not some fairy tale fantasy or motivational garbage to make you feel good for 5 minutes. This is war. This is the reality of what it takes to be powerful, rich, respected, unstoppable. But most men will still walk away from this video and go right back to weakness. They'll nod their heads, feel the fire for a second, then return to the same life that's been suffocating them for years. Not because they can't win, but because they choose not to. Because deep down, they're still married to the identity of a loser, still addicted to comfort, still afraid of becoming dangerous. But you, if you've made it this far, you've got something they don't. Hunger, fire, rage, freight. And that's the spark that changes everything. If you use it, you've been asleep too long. Now it's time to wake up like a monster, move with violence, grind with purpose, dominate with no apologies. There is no plan B. There is no fallback. You either take what's yours or die with regret. The world doesn't need another quiet man living a quiet life. The world needs warriors, leaders, kings, men who build empires from scratch and dare the world to stop them. That's what this is about. No more excuses, no more delays, no more soft thoughts. From this moment forward, you live to win. Sir, you bleed for progress, you suffer for power, and when it's all said and done, your name will echo because you refuse to be average. Now get up, lock in, and go FC King dominate.